Hello students, on the behalf of KMES English Medium High School and Junior College, I am going to start one of the chapter of physics for 12th standard of academic year 2020-21 for the students of science and IT. I start the chapter of unit modern physics, that is chapter 14, dual nature of radiation and matter. Before discussing this chapter, let's have a quick revision of certain concepts that you must know by considering the following questions, which are: first, what is radiation? Second, what is electromagnetic radiation? Third, what are the characteristics of a wave? Fourth, what are the characteristic properties of particles of matter? And fifth, what are the different types of energies that a particle of matter can possess? Students, you can pause the video and try to get the answers for the same. Okay? Now, as you are going to recall the concepts behind these questions, you come to know that, first of all, radiation. This radiation is nothing but an emission or transmission of energy in the form of wave or particle through space or material medium. Okay, this includes the electromagnetic radiation. That's obviously we know about it. That is nothing but the electromagnetic radiation, which consists of the mutually perpendicular oscillating electric and magnetic field. Okay, and both are perpendicular to the direction in which the energy and wave are traveling. As you can see in this picture, if we are considering the electric field along the y-axis, okay, and the magnetic field is traveling along the z-axis, these two are mutually perpendicular to each other, and simultaneously they are traveling along the x-axis, which is the direction of propagation of this wave. The same you can see over here in this picture too. Then one more thing, as we know about this electromagnetic radiation, is it is to be included with the radio waves, microwaves, infrared rays, visible light, ultraviolet rays, x-rays and gamma rays. Okay, now over here one more question has been asked to you, that is regarding the characteristic of a wave. So the very basic or common wave characteristics are frequency, time period, wavelength and amplitude. Okay, so in the electromagnetic spectrum we already know that as we are moving from gamma rays to the radio waves, okay, here you can see the frequency of the wave is going to be decreases. Okay, the frequency of the gamma rays is about 10⁻²⁴ hertz. Okay, and that of the radio waves, it will end towards the very low frequency 10⁻²⁵ hertz. Okay, while here you can see that the wavelength between the waves are going to be increases. Okay, the same thing you can observe in this picture too. See, as the frequency over here from gamma rays to the radio waves is going to be decreases, simultaneously the wavelength is going to be increased there. Okay, after that one more question was there. After considering the wave nature, the question was asked based on the matter. Okay, so matter is nothing but which consists of various particles, each with mass and size. They are very small. There is space between them. Constantly they are moving, attract each other, and as they are attracting each other, so we can say that they exert the intermolecular forces of attraction between them. Okay, so as the particles of matter are in constant motion, so we can say that the energy of the motion is called the kinetic energy. That means the kinetic energy of particles of matter determines the state of matter, as we know that states are the solid, liquid, gas and plasma. So here we discussed both radiation and the matter. Okay, and hence in this chapter we will discuss more about the dual nature of radiation and matter. So let come to the introduction part of the chapter. Now, students, the things we are discussing here, you're supposed to make a note of it. Okay, draw the necessary diagram with proper labeling and make a note of the important points that we are discussing. As in this chapter, we will see the dual nature of radiation and matter. In the previous standards, you have already gone through the concepts like reflection and refraction, which is one of the very important and basic phenomenon of light. Okay, we have studied it already. Another phenomenon which is said to be the interference and diffraction of light and the polarization of light. This concept you will study this year in this physics. Here the light is to be considering as the electromagnetic radiation. As already we have discussed that the light as a wave, okay, and hence in all this concept of reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction and polarization of light, over here the light is to be considered as a wave. Okay, so the wave nature of the electromagnetic radiation, we know about it. Okay, we are familiar with this wave nature of the electromagnetic radiation. As already we have seen what is the electromagnetic radiation, so it is nothing but the mutually perpendicular electric and magnetic fields. Okay, there the electric field and magnetic field, they are mutually perpendicular, they are oscillating, and hence the energy and the wave which is to be traveling through the medium, that is also being perpendicular to the direction of these two. Okay, so over here all these things are based on the wave nature of the light there. Okay, now one more chapter will be there in your physics. The chapter is kinetic theory of gases and radiation. Okay, in that chapter you will study about the spectrum of the black body radiation. Okay, but over here this spectrum of the black body radiation cannot be explained by using the wave nature of radiation. As previously in the concept of the reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, etc., over here we are giving all these concepts by using the wave nature, where we are considering the frequency and wavelength, time period and amplitude. There the particular spectrum is already there of the electromagnetic radiation, as already we have discussed here. Okay, but the concepts which are to be given in this chapter for the spectrum of the black body radiation, it cannot be explained by using the wave nature of radiation actually. Okay, here it is to be given that the interaction of the radiation will be takes place with matter, and that's why there will be the need of the another part of the physics which is said to be the quantum physics. Okay, this quantum physics actually it is proposed by the scientist Planck, and he has proposed this model by using which the black body spectrum can be explained. Okay, so the model that the Planck has been given here, he proposed that, he considered that in this model, first of all, the energy is emitted in the form of the packets. Okay, as over here previously, when the wave nature of the light is to be taken, okay, the energy is to be traveling in the form of the wave. Okay, but according to the Planck's quantum theory, here the energy that must be emitted, it will be given in the form of the packets. Okay, that is also named as quanta. And another point he had considered, that at higher frequencies the energy of a packet is large over there. Right. Now over here he had assumed that atoms that behaves like a tiny oscillator, and hence it emits the electromagnetic radiation only in the discrete packet. And as I told you over here, when there will be the oscillation will takes place, as here the atom which are to be considering as the tiny oscillator, so obviously when the oscillation will be takes place, so there will be the emission of the electromagnetic radiation happens. Okay, and hence this emission of energy that will be takes place in the form of the packets. So the amount of energy is given according to the Planck's quantum theory is given as E is equals to h nu, where h is the where h is said to be called as the Planck's constant, and nu is the frequency of the emitted radiation. Right. So over here this concept that is to be given by the Planck, he had proposed his model. After giving it, the same model was extended by Einstein, and hence Einstein extended this Planck's idea to explain the observation of the experiments on photoelectric effect. As we know, Sir J.J. Thomson found that cathode rays were a stream of negatively charged particles, which is to be named as electrons. The discovery of the electron can be considered as a starting point of the development of the modern physics there. Okay, so in this chapter we will study about the physical phenomenon associated with the electron when light interacts with them, which is to be named as photoelectric effect. So let us start with the very important topic of the chapter, that is the photoelectric effect. Okay, now first of all, here we should know something very basic thing about this effect. So first of all, it was discovered by the scientist Hertz, okay, in 1887, and this photoelectric effect is to be observed when the production of the electromagnetic waves takes place by the spark discharge. Okay, it was observed during the experiment that here the spark that will be produced between the two electrodes. Okay, when we are considering the two electrodes, so over there if the spark is to be generated, and hence it is to be regarded as the light is to be incident on the metallic plate, and because of that spark gap it will conduct electricity more easily. Okay, so it was first observed by the scientist, then based on this observation, okay, here they have performed the experiment. Okay, the experimental study for the same we will discuss later, and in that experiment they have observed that when the ultraviolet radiations are to be used, okay, it will be incident on the metal so that the electrons are being emitted from the surface of the metal. Okay, the thing which we come to know here about the photoelectric effect is that whenever the light, as the scientist had used the light ultraviolet light, okay, so here they have used the ultraviolet radiation, okay, and when the radiation is to be incident on this metallic surface, here it is the metallic surface, in this metal number of electrons are present, okay, so as soon as the ultraviolet light is to be incident on the metallic surface, so it was observed that the current is to be flowing in a circuit. So how can we say that the current is flowing in a circuit? We know that the flow of current is nothing but the basic thing of the flow of electrons per unit time, okay, so here we can conclude that when the ultraviolet radiation is to be incident on the metal surface, electrons are to be emitted from the surface, okay. So here, after performing the experiment, the experiment has been performed by using the ultraviolet radiation, okay. As soon as it will be incident on the metallic surface, electrons are emitted, because of which current is flowing in a circuit that can be observed through the ammeter used in the circuit, okay. Another observation that the scientist had taken, when this ultraviolet radiation is stopped, okay, the current flowing in a circuit is also stopped. So here we can conclude that current is not flowing in a circuit. That means these electrons are not emitted from the surface, okay. So over here, after making this conclusion, the scientists have found, they have repeated the experiment for different metallic plates, okay, and obviously their observations that they have got there we will discuss later, okay, and they have named this phenomenon as the photoelectric effect, which is to be defined as the phenomenon of emission of electrons by a certain substance, or we can say the metal also, when it is exposed to radiations of suitable frequencies, is called photoelectric effect, and emitted electrons are called photoelectrons, okay. The very important thing that is used in this definition of the photoelectric effect is the radiation used of suitable frequencies. The scientist had used the ultraviolet radiation, which is having a larger frequency, okay. Here we will see how the suitable frequency comes here, okay, that we will discuss after performing the experiment also. So it is to be very important that whenever the suitable frequency of radiation is to be falls on the metallic surface, then only the electrons are emitted from the metal. If the incident frequency is not so enough, electrons will not be emitted from the surface, okay. So whenever the radiation of suitable frequencies are to be incident on certain metal, the electrons are emitted from the surface, okay. Here one thing you have to keep in mind, okay, that is the photoelectric effect is a one photon one electron phenomenon. One photon cannot eject more than one electron, okay. Here the interaction when the light which is to be incident on the metal surface, okay, the interaction which will be takes place between the electrons which are present over there, okay, it will takes place one hand like over there. When the incident radiation is to be incident on the metallic plate, it will eject one electron only. Okay, we will see in detail what is one photon and one electron phenomenon. Okay, you have to just keep in mind that photoelectric effect is a one photon one electron phenomena. Okay, so over here the phenomenon of emission of the electrons by a certain metal when it is exposed to the radiation of suitable frequencies is called as the photoelectric effect. Okay, now when the question will be asked to you, give the definition, so please try to write your answer, write your definition as it is given to you in this format. Okay, now next thing, the word has been used, photoelectron. Certain more words we will use in this chapter. Okay, like the photosensitive surface, photoelectrons and photoelectric current. Okay, so what is the photosensitive surface? So it is nothing but the metallic surface that we are using here. Okay, and when the light of suitable frequency is to be incident on this metal, so there is an ability of a metal to eject the electrons. Okay, here the electrons which are emitting in this process, these electrons are to be named as photoelectrons, and the current that is to be producing by using these photoelectrons are to be called as the photoelectric current. Okay, now these photoelectrons are emitted from this metallic surface, so this metal is to be called as the photosensitive metal there. Okay, or you can say the photosensitive surface. So over here, the when the light of suitable frequency falls on the surface, it will eject the electron, so that surface is said to be the photosensitive surface. The ejected electrons are said to be a photoelectrons, and the current flowing due to these photoelectrons are called as the photoelectric current. Okay, these are the some terminologies that we will be used over here in this chapter. Okay, one more thing is to be observed while doing the experiment. As I told you, the experiment was performed, we will discuss it also. It will be performed by using the different types of the metals. Okay, so they have categorized like, first of all, when the metals like zinc, cadmium, magnesium, etc. is to be taken, and the same experiment has been performed. That means when the zinc, cadmium, magnesium is to be taken, the suitable frequency radiation is to be falls on this metallic surface. Okay, here the scientists are using the ultraviolet radiation only. Okay, so this zinc, cadmium and magnesium are exposed to the ultraviolet radiation there, and hence over there it was found electrons are emitted from the surface. Okay, we know that in our spectrum, number of the light or radiation we can use, like gamma rays, x-rays, we can use the infrared rays, obviously. Okay, so it was found that to observe the photoelectric effect, the suitable light is to be determined is the ultraviolet radiation. Okay, here this ultraviolet radiation is to be taken in comparison of our visible light. Okay, as ultraviolet radiation having the larger frequency than the visible light. Okay, its wavelength is shorter than the visible light wavelength. Fine, so when such high frequency radiation is to be falls on zinc, cadmium and magnesium etc., then only the electrons are emitted from the surface, and hence we can say that this zinc, cadmium and magnesium is the photosensitive surface. Okay, and another thing that the observation is to be takes place for the alkali metals. Okay, so it was observed for the alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium etc. Here ultraviolet radiation is not necessary. Even by using the visible light, photoelectric effect can be observed. So what should be the reason behind it? Okay, so it was found that the alkali metals has the tendency of losing electrons. Okay, the electrons are not so much tightly bound with the nucleus, and hence even for the visible light also, when the visible light is to be incident on the alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, so the electrons are to be emitted from the surface. That means the photoelectric effect can be observed for the alkali metals. Here the ultraviolet radiation is not compulsory, it is not necessary. Okay, here even with the visible radiation also we can get the photoelectric effect, but for the alkali metals only. Okay, but for other metals we have to use the ultraviolet radiation there. Fine, so this is about the photoelectric effect. The photoelectric effect, again please remember, it is nothing but the phenomenon of emission of electrons. Okay, very simple. Photo means light. Okay, photoelectric effect means here when the light is to be incident, electrons are emitted. So it is nothing but a phenomenon of emission of electrons. When it will be emitted, when the electrons are emitted, so when the light is incident on certain material. Okay, and that light must have a suitable frequency. So this effect is said to be the photoelectric effect. Okay, you have to please remember the definition of the photoelectric effect. Again I am repeating, the phenomenon of emission of electrons by certain substance or metal when it is exposed to radiations of suitable frequencies is called photoelectric effect. So look at the definition again and understand the definition, make a note of it. Let us come to the very important part, that is the experimental study of the photoelectric effect. The experiment that has been performed to see this effect. Okay, so the experimental setup of the photoelectric effect is there in front of you. You're supposed to draw this circuit diagram, and hence whenever such question will ask to you regarding the experimental study of the photoelectric effect, you have to draw this diagram, write down its construction and then give its working. Okay, so first of all, to study the photoelectric effect, as we know that whenever the light radiation of suitable frequency incident on certain material, the electrons are emitted from the metallic surface. Okay, so to study this effect, this experiment has been set up there. Okay, so first of all let us see the construction of this experiment. So it consists of an evacuated glass tube, as you can see, which has one quartz window. Okay, now in this evacuated glass tube at these two ends, two metallic plate has been fixed. This metallic plate, which is to be named as E, is your photosensitive metallic plate, or also called as the emitter plate. Okay, and another plate is called, which is to be named as C, is called as the collector plate. Fine. Now the potential between these two plates, as there is a gap between these two plates, and hence the potential is to be maintained over here by the variable potential source, which can also be changed there. Okay, now regarding the polarity of these two plates, here we are using the commutator key. Okay, by means of this commutator key we can make the positive or negative potential with respect to the collector plate. Fine. Now the monochromatic light from the source S of sufficiently short wavelength that enters through this quartz window over here and falls on the photosensitive plate there. Okay, as normally the ultraviolet radiation is to be used to observe this photoelectric effect. Okay, and by means of this commutator key, here the plate E is to be made negative potential with respect to the collector plate C. Okay, so as the ultraviolet radiation of suitable frequency is to be falls on this emitter plate, the electrons are to be emitted from its surface. Okay, as by means of the small circle you can observe, it is the electrons which is to be emitted from the emitter plate E there. Now the next thing, as the potential of this plate E is negative, that's why the electrons are moving away from this plate and collector plate is made at the positive potential. So all the electrons which are negatively charged particles are attracted towards the collector plate. Okay, so here we can say like the plate C is collecting all the electrons, that's why is to be named as the collector plate there. Okay, so the gap between the plate E and C is to be now filled with the flow of the electrons from the emitter to collector plate, and hence the current is flowing in a circuit. That means from the photosensitive emitter plate electrons are emitted, which is called as the photoelectrons, and hence due to this flow of the electrons current is flowing in a circuit which is said to be the photoelectric current. And hence the potential difference between the emitter and the collector plate is measured by the voltmeter, whereas the photoelectric current flowing in the circuit is to be measured by the microammeter. Okay, so this is all about the photoelectric effect. One more thing we have discussed, that when the ultraviolet radiation is stopped, photoelectric current is also stopped. So the same thing is to be observed here also. When from the source of light, monochromatic light will not falls on the emitter plate, the current flowing in a circuit in the microammeter is 0. That means the electrons are not flowing between the gap of emitter and collector plate because the electrons are not emitted from the emitter plate. Okay, so it is to be observed that as soon as the light radiation which is to be incident on the photosensitive material is cut off, the electrons emission is also cut off there. There will be no emission of the electron will takes place, and hence no current is to be flowing. Okay, so we have to remember whenever the light is to be incident on the emitter plate, photoelectrons are emitted, and hence these photoelectrons are to be attracted by another collector plate, and hence the photoelectric current is to be measured. So, this is all about the photoelectric effect by using this experimental setup. The observations from these experiments on photoelectric effect we will discuss next time in the next lecture. Thank you.